Hello everyone, and welcome back to what must be the final moments of Phoenix Wright Justice for All. Well, things have really just reached the apex of their hype and danger, because Matt Onguard has come clean to us that he's the real killer in this case. Well, I mean, he hired an assassin, but that's tantamount to murdering someone, really. But, of course, we can't do anything about that because he's holding Maya's life over our heads. So, our current goal here, in the second day of court, is to just stall, buy as much time as possible, and hope that the police can rescue Maya. Now, the police in this series are pretty competent. I mean, when they're not being blackmailed by Red White or just being purposely led astray by Damon Gant, but that's besides the point. I'm not even sure they really have much of a chance because they don't really have any leads to go on. The killer's a professional. He didn't leave any traces behind, any clues. But hopefully in their search, maybe they could find that one tape that Matt Onguard hid away. The tape he recorded of Shelley the Killer killing Juan Corda. If we could get that tape, then, well, that would just blow it all wide open, right? Because if that tape became public, then the killer would know that Matt was trying to blackmail him, and thus their contract would be completely off. The killer wouldn't want to keep protecting Matt Onguard or keep serving his will, so he just let Maya go at that point, right? Like, he wouldn't give a shit. He's just a professional. He has no personal stake in it other than to protect his client, but if his client was proven to be his enemy, then all bets are off, right? Anyway, enough hypothesizing. Let's just get on here. Court is now in session for the trial of Matt Onguard. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Now, as I recall, we concluded yesterday's session with a big mystery on our hands. The mystery being what exactly was Miss Adrian Andrews' role in this murder. That is to say, is she really connected to the crime itself? Mr. Edgeworth, if you would please inform the court of today's proceedings. Adrian Andrews. She forged evidence that threw suspicion onto Mr. Onguard, and then proceeded to escape the crime scene by wearing a nickel samurai costume. The guilt of these actions are those from which she cannot escape. Then you're saying that she is guilty after all? I'm not finished, Your Honor. Miss Andrews has nothing to do with committing the actual murder. I would like to direct the court's attention to this. Oh! Edgeworth's the one going to tell everyone. Okay, well, thank goodness, because they'll just believe him. They'll take him for his word. I mean, if we tried to bring it up, we'd have to prove it somehow, but okay. Well then. Wait, if he's just gonna tell everyone that the killer was a killer, then we can't stall at all. The court's gonna be over right away. Uh-oh. Wait. I would like to direct the court's attention to this card. What is that? It looks like a shell. This is the calling card of a certain assassin. Assassin, you say? Yes. Juan Corda was killed by a professional assassin. And the person who hired the assassin, his client so to speak, is Matt Onguard. What a surprising turn of events. I would think it's become commonplace by now, Your Honor. I know what's going on this time. So I know that everything Edgeworth has said is true. But we still have to hold out as long as we can. That's right. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's all turned on its head. We have to bullshit our way through with lies to prove that Matt Engard didn't hire the assassin, even though we know it's true. We just need to stall. Okay. Man, not even is this narrative flipped on its head, but the gameplay is as well. Oh my god. At least until Maya's safe and sound. I wonder how the trial will turn out today. Now then, please call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, that would be Mr. Powers, right? The prosecution calls the defendant's mentor, Mr. Will Powers, to the stand. Now, what in the world could this guy possibly have seen? Wasn't he in the central banquet hall the entire time? Now then, witness, your name and occupation, please. Okay. I'm, Will Powers. I'm a poor, underpaid action star. And what is your relation to the defendant? Well, I guess I'm sort of a lousy mentor to him in a way. Yeah. Mr. Powers, please. You don't need to put yourself down so much. Oh, sorry. Well, but I'm just kind of a nothing sort of guy. On the night of the murder, you visited the defendant's room. Oh, okay. Well then. Is this correct? Yes. Huh. I didn't know that. But, you know, I didn't actually get to see Matt when I went. All you need to do is answer what you've asked. What you're asked. Boy, I'm misreading a lot of things today, aren't I? Weird. Now then, I would like you to please testify about when you went to Mr. Engard's room. Okay, sure. Visit to Matt's room. Alright, we're in there. After the award ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room. Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume. And he was chatting to a very specific bellboy, wasn't he? Oh, son of a bitch. The full glass of tomato juice already poured. God damn it, what does it mean? My head already hurts. He was talking with someone. At first, I thought it was the bellboy. I watched the two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back. Wow. I had guests with me that night, and I couldn't make them wait for me. That'd be me. Well, Phoenix and Maya and Pearl, I guess. Okay. I suppose in this cross-examination we'll want to throw a lot of suspicion at the identity of that bellboy. In fact, actually, Will Powers just said he thought it was a bellboy, implying that he realized it wasn't actually a bellboy. And yet, the man was wearing the beige tuxedo and had the serving tray. So what could have possibly changed his mind? Interesting. Nothing sounds out of place in Mr. Powers' testimony. And talking with a bellboy is no big deal. Oh, come on, Phoenix. If one assumes that the person Mr. Engard was speaking with was an ordinary bellboy... What are you implying? Well, Mr. Wright, let's have your cross-examination, shall we? Looks like we're in another sticky situation. Huh? A trap. Can't you smell it, Phoenix? But for us to find out more, we're just going to have to charge in head first, right? Okay. So, Edgeworth wants us to point out that bellboy then. I guess it's because Edgeworth figures that the bellboy point is so blindingly obvious a thing to pursue, but if we did that, we wouldn't really have any evidence or anything to back up any claims we could make. Alright, let's start by pressing everything. The defendant's room. Why did you go there? Well, I'm his mentor, like a big brother, sort of, and I wanted to say congrats. What's wrong? Why did you stop? Mr. Wright. What is it? You're going to try to trick me into a corner, aren't you? Oh, he's savvy. Huh? I know I'm just a poor, underpaid action star, but I'm not the killer. No one said you were, Mr. Powers. No, please, don't trick me. Every time you do your lawyer thing, the witness suddenly turns into the bad guy. Every time? Witness? I will personally talk to the defense at a later time. So for now, please kindly cooperate and continue with your testimony. Sorry. So, you went to the defendant's room, and then? Hey, wait a minute. When and how did I suddenly turn into the bad guy here? Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume. Are you sure that was Matt on guard? Yeah, I'm sure. He wasn't wearing the nickel samurai mask then. If that's the case, then he really can't be mistaken. And what was the defendant doing, standing in front of his own room? He was talking with someone. At first, I thought it was the bellboy. At first? What do you mean by that? Well, he was in a bellboyish uniform, and he had a bottle of juice on a tray. Sounds like an ordinary bellboy to me. Yeah, but I didn't think he was a normal bellboy. And why was that? Why did I think that, Mr. Wright? How am I supposed to know? Sorry, but I can't remember right now. Sorry. Guess I'm going to have to wait patiently on this one. Interesting. I watched the two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back. You saw the two of them, the bellboy and the defendant, together, correct? Yeah, the bellboy just wanted to say congrats. Now, while you were watching the two of them, did you notice anything strange? You know, I did feel something weird. I think it was because Matt, well, he gave the bellboy a tip. A tip? That's a perfectly normal thing to do. I think that's a tip, as in a piece of advice. So, how long did you watch the two of them? Not more than a minute or two, I think. I had guests with me that night, and I couldn't make them wait for me. So who are these guests you're talking about? You guys, of course. You and my little Pearl. I thought it would be really rude since I invited you guys if I disappeared on you. So I went back to my seat pretty soon after seeing Matt in the hallway. This is like squeezing water from a stone. It's probably pointless to press further. Do you remember this incident? Did Mr. Powers leave his seat that night? I don't think he did, come to think of it. I don't remember that happening at all. Maya was making such a racket in her hyper state. I ended up focusing on her. I see. In any case, from his story, he probably wasn't gone for very long. Huh. Okay, so pressing did nothing for me. Not a single thing. I need to contradict something here. After the awards ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room. Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume. Yeah, we know he fell asleep in that costume, and the button was planted on his hakama while he was sleeping. He was talking with someone. At first I thought it was the bellboy. Watched the two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back. I had guests with me that night and I couldn't make them wait for me. Oh my god. I don't have a single idea of what I should do here. Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume. Does it have anything relating to any of this? Okay. Let's see how all these pieces of evidence could apply here. A badge, that's useless. Magatama, we know that's useless. Nickel samurai, glossy photo Maya pushed onto me. I mean, yeah, that's not gonna do anything. Press conference ticket. Seems like the Nickel samurai is to confess something after the post-ceremony stage show. Maybe I could point out that because of all these flyers, Will Powers would actually have assumed that Matt would be behind stage or something. So why would he go to the hallway? But no, that doesn't feel quite right. Radio transceiver, that's not related. The camera. Tabloid article about the victim was in the case. Yeah, no. Will Powers has no idea who Lotta or Old Bag is. He has no idea about this camera or the tabloid inside. Okay, magazine clipping, an article from the tabloid Gossip Land. Let's see. That's just about Juan and Adrian Andrews. I don't think it relates to Mr. Matt on guard. Really? Hotel guide map. So yeah, he's saying he left from the Viola Hall, and he looked in and he saw on guard standing near his room talking with the bellboy. Does the floor plan relate to anything he's saying here? After the words from me, I went by myself to Matt's room. Did he? Did he take someone with him? I'm sure if Matt... I'm sure if Mr. Powers told our table that he was going to visit the Nickel Samurai, Maya would have loved to go. I was standing there in front of his room, still in his Nickel Samurai costume. He's talking to someone. At first I thought it was the bellboy. Watched the two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back. Okay, let's keep looking at our evidence. Guitar case, that's not relevant. Wine glass. I mean, it's on the tray apparently, but it's not relevant to this line of dialogue here. Crime photo. Button. I mean, maybe I could point out that the knife wasn't on the tray, but the tray's not talked about in the slightest. Picture taken in the hallway right after the murder. No, the scene that Will Powers is describing clearly took place before the murder. Alright? Yeah. The card, that's relevant. Spy cameras are relevant. The transmitter is relevant. Stuffed bear is relevant. Guys? I don't have any ideas. At all. Not one. Watched the two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back. I was talking to someone first. I thought it was a bellboy. Okay, well, Mia said something to question whether Will Powers even left in the first place, but I don't have any pieces of evidence that refute that. There's nothing I can point to in the evidence list or the list of profiles that could say otherwise. Right? I mean, I'm stumped. I don't know what to do. After the word this morning, I went by myself to Matt's room. I mean, we know Matt was in his costume the entire night, yes. What do I do? What do I do? I don't know! I don't freaking know! I'm baffled! Oh my god, what do I do? I'm not getting anywhere but just asking that over and over again. How do I even go about solving this? What is the first step I can even take here? I know! Let's check the wiki! Yeah! Okay. I checked the wiki and it's something outrageously stupid again! God damn it, game. Come on! So, I pressed every statement in sequential order. But apparently, you need to press the fourth statement and then circle back and press the third statement a second time. Okay? Because the first time you press the third statement, he says, I thought something was off about the bellboy, but I don't know what. And then when you press the fourth statement, Will says that Matt gave the bellboy a tip. And apparently saying that will jog his memory enough to change his testimony on this third press here. God damn it. How does a player even do that? The only way they could possibly figure that out is if they beat their head against the wall and just pressed everything again just to double check everything. Why did I think that, Mr. Wright? How am I supposed to know? Hey, wait a second. Actually, Mr. Powers, only a few minutes ago you stated... you know, I did feel something weird. I think it was because Matt, well, he gave the bellboy a tip. Could it be that you felt something strange about the tip-giving incident itself? Oh, yeah, that's it. You really know your job. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor? This bellboy, he wasn't an ordinary one, was he? Perhaps we should let the witness tell us. Very well. Mr. Powers, please amend your testimony. You mean about the bellboy, right? Matt gave the bellboy a tip. How can he carry money in his... Well, no, he could have just gotten it from the room. Let's press this. So he gave the bellboy a tip. What's so strange about that? Oh, it's, yeah, I said this earlier. It's probably tip as in advice, right? Oh, well, you see, Matt's not a poor penny pincher like me. I was trying to figure out how much it was because the tip really shocked me. How much it was? Oh, was it a big, massive wad of cash? But that's when something even more surprising happened. The bellboy was putting the tip he got in his pocket. And that's when I got my first good look at the guy's face. I was really shocked. I'm afraid I don't follow at all. Sounds like Mr. Powers was surprised twice by this event. I wonder which of his shocking moments I should ask about. The tip. It has to be a big wad of cash, right? The defendant is a huge star. He can afford to give someone a generous tips, wouldn't they? Wouldn't you agree? Well, I bungled that so much. Sure. But giving him that much was maybe a little too much, I think. A little too much? Would you please clarify for the court? About how much would you say the defendant gave the bellboy? Honestly, I don't know. I can't even begin to guess. And why is that? Because he gave the bellboy a really fat roll of cash. A roll of cash? Well, how interesting. That certainly was a very generous tip, wasn't it? A very fat roll of cash. That can hardly be called a tip, Your Honor. The judge is beginning to look awfully suspicious of us. Well... I guess we don't have a single piece of evidence to disprove what happened. Not a single bit. So if we raise an objection, that might buy time, but we wouldn't be able to substantiate anything. Let's do it for Maya.
Objection!
The defendant is a superstar. That kind of tip is typical fare for people like him.
Objection!
Are you saying that all superstars are super spenders? If I could receive large rolls of cash by simply bringing people things on trays, then why on earth would I stand around here prosecuting? Surely you don't do this for the money, Edgeworth. Come on. You've got a point. I don't even get paid, let alone rolls of cash for all my hard work. What? Surely you get a salary. At the bare minimum, you get paid by your defendants, right? 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 So, supposing that roll of cash was not a tip, then what was it? Payment, Your Honor. Oh. Payment. Isn't it obvious? For the murder of Mr. Juan Corrida. Then the bellboy the witness saw. Yes, he was the assassin. Well, hold your horses now. Mr. Edgeworth, you don't have any proof of this, do you? Have I ever been unprepared to support my claims, Your Honor? I have here the card Shelley D. Killer left at the scene of the crime. Shelley D. Killer? He is the person the police's special investigations team has been chasing for ages. I am certain that the person this witness saw was this very assassin, Shelley D. Killer. Really? What's wrong, Mr. Powers? No, nothing. Something just clicked in my head and I think I just figured something out. Oh? Actually, I saw that bellboy again later on that night. What? Mr. Powers, please testify. Tell us what you saw. Yes, sir. Right away. The second time. Alright. This time, I was in that hallway because I had to go to the bathroom. And that's when that bellboy I saw earlier came out of the room. Which room? Oh, for the love of God, which room? Of course, when I say room, I mean Juan Corrida's room. Ah, that room. Yes, that room. Now that I think about it, that bellboy did seem kind of out of place. Yeah, so he had to be the assassin, I'm sure of it. I mean... Thank you very much. That is all we need for now. Huh? But I'm not done. There's still more. Let us first establish that the bellboy was truly Mr. D. Killer. Then we shall see. So the bellboy came out of the victim's room. And if that bellboy really was the assassin, then I think the answer is fairly obvious. That would be correct, Your Honor. Well, Mr. Wright, I believe it's your turn to entertain and make us laugh. That's exactly what a jester does. Ha! 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 This is no laughing matter. The second time. Okay. And this time, I was in that hallway because I had to go to the bathroom. Do I really want to press this? Okay, it's probably gonna be funny. And what time was it? Okay, that's probably the best line of questioning for that sentence, yes. Oh, well, I don't remember. The award ceremony ended around 8 p.m., right? And I went to Matt's room pretty soon after that. And then I came back. And then I went to the bathroom. So I guess maybe it was around 8:10 p.m. by that time? You're not one for details, are you, Mr. Powers? Sorry. I thought I could maybe catch Matt and say my congrats. And that's when that bellboy I saw earlier came out of the room. Oh. Yeah. Are you sure it was the same bellboy? Yeah. And how could you tell? All the bellboys wear the same uniform after all. But, you see, well, he had those stitches in his face. Irk. So I'm sure it's the same guy that was talking with Matt. So which room did the bellboy come out of? Of course, when I say room, I mean Juan Corrida's room. The victim's room, huh? Yeah, the one with all the really pretty flowers and teddy bears. It was Juan's room, all right. Words cannot describe how screwed I am. Let's continue with the testimony, shall we? Now that I think about it, that bellboy did seem kinda out of place. So what exactly was so out of place about him? Right. Why the insipid grin? Maybe because I have no idea what damaging thing he's going to say next? Well, the bellboy was empty-handed. Empty-handed? That bellboy was one of those room service people, right? But he wasn't pushing a cart and he wasn't holding a tray either. He call that a little strange too, wouldn't you? I agree that it is a bit strange, Mr. Powers. Is it really that unusual for a bellboy to be empty-handed? What should I do? Should I let Mr. Powers' testimony slide, or... Yeah, why not, right? Try to pull a fast one. There is nothing strange or unusual about an empty-handed bellboy. But there really, really is. There really, really isn't.
Objection!
If you two are done being school children, bellboys are for room service. There is no reason for them to be empty-handed, ever. Well, what if they bring in a tray of food, right? Just a little dish? Surely they just leave the whole thing there, right? I mean, not enough food for a cart, but just enough to carry. Your Honor, I ask that the witness's previous statement be supplanted with this new one. Edgeworth, are you going to do whatever you can to make the bellboy look suspicious? I see. Very well. This court recognizes and grants the prosecution's request. Mr. Powers, if you could amend your testimony, please. Yes, sir. Okay. I thought it was kind of strange for a bellboy to come out of a guest room empty-handed. That's a new line of dialogue. Let's press it. So you're saying that it's suspicious for him to be empty-handed? Yeah, really suspicious. I mean, when I first saw that bellboy, he was holding a tray in his hand, and there was a bottle of juice and a wine glass on it. Juice? What kind of juice was it? I'm pretty sure it was tomato juice. If you could come up with some sort of reason as to why he would come out empty-handed, some sort of proof, then I think we can dodge a bullet on this one for now. Proof, huh? Sounds like another job for the court record. Yeah. Alright. I thought it was kind of strange for a bellboy to come out of a guest room empty-handed. Well... Yeah. Wine glass. Right? He left the glass there, but... Oh my god, this is so easily disprovable by Edgeworth. Why even bother, right? Okay, before we do that, let's just press this last line here. Please don't be so quick to judge. But it's kind of a Powers family thing. Think of every person as a thief. Well, I guess a thief and an assassin are both sneaky and silent. That's not the point, Phoenix. In any case, if that bellboy was the assassin, it would be very bad for us. But he really is the assassin, you know? Yes, but you can't give in yet. If you want to prolong this trial for as long as possible, you're going to have to pull some cheap tricks on this one. All said. Okay. I thought it was kind of strange for a bellboy to come out of a guest room empty-handed. No, he probably just left this glass, right? Oh, thank God. This game? I've never been happier to hear music stop, you know? Mr. Powers. Yes? You're easily influenced by other people's words, aren't you? As soon as you heard that the bellboy might have been the killer, you got caught up in believing it must be true. But, isn't he really suspicious? He's got all those stitches and... Wow, you're one to judge by appearances, man. So, a baseball has stitches. That is the worst line you've ever said, Phoenix. Are you saying all baseballs are... That's entirely different! Baseballs are supposed to have stitches, but humans don't regularly have stitches. Gulp. Well, there's also... I mean, what about him being empty-handed? I would like to ask the court to please take a look here. Yeah, if the tomato juice didn't work, I would have used the crime photo. This is the crime scene. There is a wine glass sitting next to Mr. Corda's body. The liquid inside this glass is tomato juice. And now, if you would look at what is on top of the table in the lower right corner here. Ah, the tray too, wow. Anyone can clearly see that it is a tray with a bottle of tomato juice on it. The bellboy had just brought this to Mr. Corda's room. He left the tray in the room, which is why he was empty-handed when he left. Oh, but... That would mean that the bellboy had seen and left a dead body in the room. But you can't... But can you prove that Mr. Corda was already dead at that time? Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? I blame you for leading me down this route. Oh my god! Really? Is this all it takes? All it takes to make the judge actually angry at the prosecution for once is just to lie out of your ass? Really? I'm terribly sorry. What is with him? Why is he laughing? Witness, isn't there one more thing you would like to share with us? Is there? The bellboy was empty-handed. Or should I say empty-hand-id. I recall you had something interesting to say about his hands. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Huh? What? That bellboy. He was wearing gloves. I mean, he didn't leave any prints on the glass, right? How does this figure in? Gloves. Yeah, pitch black leather ones. All the other bellboys don't wear gloves like that, right? Black leather gloves. Why didn't you mention them earlier? Sorry, it slipped from my mind. Boy, does this make the bellboy look really suspicious. Alright, got to focus. I can't get lax here. So what if he had gloves? A lot of bellboys wear gloves. Come on, Mr. Wright. That bellboy was wearing black leather ones. So, a football. This is the worst. I mean, I'm saying this is the worst, but I don't hate it. It's so ridiculous. Are you saying all footballs are suspicious because they are made of leather? Gulp. But that man, he received a large roll of cash from the defendant. And then he was seen leaving the crime scene wearing black leather gloves. I don't think that even someone like myself can believe he was just another bellboy. It seems that we have finally come to an understanding. Now then, witness, please continue with the rest of your testimony. The rest? Oh yes, please tell us more. Okay. Their second meeting. Oh, son of a gun. Oh no. After leaving Juan's room, the bellboy went and knocked on Matt's door just like that. He gave something to the person inside the room. What in the world could that be? Well, Willpower says this person inside the room, so he didn't see who the bellboy was interacting with. Then the old guy just left, without even going into the room. After that, I went to the bathroom and then back to my seat. So the bellboy, after leaving the crime scene, next went to the defendant's room? Yeah, I kind of saw that by accident. Some accident? I'd say you saw too much. And all of it was suspicious to high heaven. I think it's safe to say that we can no longer consider this bellboy to be normal. Now then, let's get started, shall we? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor. Oh boy. After leaving Juan's room, the bellboy went and knocked on Matt's door, just like that. Is that what you saw while you were busy spying? Excuse me? I may be a poor, underpaid action star, but even I wouldn't stoop to spying. Well, I think the point is where did you watch all this from, Mr. Powers? Oh, from the door of the bathroom with my left eye, in a sort of sneaky spy-like... I knew he was spying. Please, does it really matter if he was doing it over or underhandedly? What did the bellboy do next? That's all I care to know. He gave something to the person inside the room. I said, hold it. Okay. That's better. Ahem. What kind of statement is that? Please elaborate and give us a few more details. Okay. Should probably ask him only one question at a time. Don't ask anything. What? Okay, I have to do that just to see what would happen. That's ridiculous. I don't think I can find out much more from Mr. Powers. Should probably move on to a different topic. So what did the bellboy do after that? Oh, that was incredibly lame. Okay. What is even the point of that, even? Okay, about the person inside, who did you see? So who took this something the bellboy handed off? Actually, I don't know. What do you mean? I'm sorry, but I only saw the person's arm. Only an arm? Then you're saying you didn't see the person's face? Yeah. Well, it was Mr. Ungar's room, correct? So it could only have been Mr. Ungard himself, I'd say. Or Adrian Andrews. And then, what did the bellboy do after that? Oh, so after he gave the person inside the room the thing... Hold up, rewind, let's ask about the thing. Okay, let's skip through all this, because it's kind of long. What is this something? He gave something to this person. Yeah. And what was this something? If I remembered what it was, I wouldn't be calling it a something, would I? But this implies that something was removed from the scene of the crime. Are you sure you really can remember, Mr. Powers? I think it was something kind of small. I'd like to summarize the testimony up to this point, if you don't mind. When the bellboy left the crime scene, he immediately went to the defendant's room. There, he handed a small item of some sort to the person inside. The bloody button, maybe? As for the person who received the item, all he could see was the person's arm. Yes, it was just like that. Mr. Edgeworth, is all this really that important? Of course, Your Honor. I think this is of the utmost importance. This is when whatever was removed from the crime scene was handed over to the client. Mr. Powers, please try to remember what it was the bellboy handed off. Well, let's see, I think it was... No. If you remember, please add it to your testimony. Yes, sir. If I saw it again, I could say for sure, but I think it was some sort of wooden statue. The tiny wooden carved bear that we have? Okay, let's press this. Hello. Statue? Yeah, it kinda looked like one, I guess. If I saw the actual thing again, I'd probably remember, you know? It's like for this trial to proceed, I'm going to have to come up with whatever this statue thing is and show it to him. You're going to have to trust your instinct on this one and take a chance, Phoenix. Well, Mr. Powers, let's continue with your testimony. What did the bellboy do after that? Hold on, Judge, hold on. If I saw it again, I could say for sure. Yeah, was it this?
Objection!
Hello. What was the point of that pregnant pause? Where did that objection come from? Well, speak up. It was me, Your Honor. What is it, Phoenix? I have a feeling that something bad is going to happen once I show this. Yeah. Actually, now that I think about this, really would implicate Matt on guard, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, if you have something to say, please spit it out. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, Phoenix, deep breath. Mr. Powers, the something you saw. Was it this item? Oh, hey, that's it. That's the something. Wow, Mr. Wright, you really figured it out. I recall we found this at Matt on Guard's mansion. At the defendant's house. Oh boy. What does this mean? It's simple, Your Honor. Shelley D. Killer assassinated Juan Corda in his room. And then he stole this wooden bear from the scene of the crime. Does the bear open up? I mean, the game keeps drawing attention to the lines on its body. Does it unfold? Does it have a secret compartment? Then the bear being found at Mr. Ungar's mansion would mean... It goes without saying, Your Honor. Mr. Matt on Guard is D. Killer's client. Order, order, order! I said order! Really gotta flap the jowls for that one. Mr. Wright, this is most unfortunate turn of events for you. Yeah. Sorry, Mia. No, it's alright. Your judgment was sound. Actually, I figured the bear would come up. If not now, then it would have later on. Even if you hadn't shown it to the court, I'm sure your friend Edgeworth would have. I almost forgot that he knew about it too. I think it is clear that there is no need for us to continue this trial. I can't let this happen. I have to do something. There has to be something we've overlooked. Your Honor, a minute, please. Yeah, Mr. On Guard was asleep at the time of the murder, so the person who received the figurine would be Adrian Andrews, right? Yes, Mr. Wright. There's still a few points left that we have not fully explored. What are you trying to pull? Oh, well, we can't have that. Alright, Mr. Wright. What questionable point would you like to explore further? The person who received the bear. Right? Now, the bear itself I am very curious about. What is its purpose? What are these thin cuts all on it? Why would the real killer, or the bellboy, hand it over to the other person? There are many, many questions about this. However, I think the person who received the bear is very suspect. So let's go with that first. There's one thing in Mr. Powers' testimony that was very unclear, and that is the identity of the person who received the bear. He gave something to the person inside the room. I'm sorry, but I only saw the person's arm. As long as we don't know who it was that took the bear, we can't be sure of... Oh! What? Eh? What is it, Mr. Powers? If you're going to scream like that, then at least give us a good reason why. Oh yeah, so sorry. Actually, so... I remembered. I remembered who took the bear. What? Really? I mean, I only saw his arm. But, the arm... It was the Nickel Samurai's arm, I swear it. Okay. Well... What's going on with the killer's leg? It looks like there's a bite taken out of his leg over there. Weird. So... We know that Adrian Andrews only just put on the costume after she found the body. Yeah, the costume was inside the guitar case inside Juan Corda's room. So this can't be Adrian Andrews then. This transaction here is taking place immediately after the killing, before Adrian could have possibly gone inside. But the question is, where is Adrian right here and now? You've got to be kidding! Are you sure of that, Mr. Powers? Yeah, I'm sure it was the Nickel Samurai. Order, order! It looks like you've dug your own grave, yet again. How many times is that today? I've lost count. So the person who took in this little bear was the Nickel Samurai. And, as we all know, Matt Ongard is the Nickel Samurai. Thanks to the defense, we've made that all the clearer. What am I supposed to do now? Mia, help! You don't have time to act lost. You've got to find another angle to attack this from. Hurry! Now, I will bring this cross-examination to... Your Honor! Again, Mr. Wright. You've already removed any and all questionable areas of this testimony. It's about time you were removed from this court, Mr. Wright. I have to find something. Even one more little point will do. There are still questions left unanswered. What are you trying to pull? Oh, well, we can't have that. Alright, Mr. Wright, what questionable point would you like to explore further? Okay, let's go with the bear itself. I think it's fairly obvious that the bear itself is very questionable. Edris doesn't have anything to say, nothing to disagree with. The bear, Mr. Wright. This was found at Mr. Ongard's mansion. However, Mr. Ongard was arrested at the hotel that night, which means that since the murder occurred, he has not had a chance to go home. Oh. I think Your Honor has already figured out what I'm trying to get at, what I'm trying to say. It is not possible that it was Mr. Ongard who took this bear to the mansion. Oh, why, that's very true. We didn't consider that point, Mr. Wright. There was no way, time-wise, for the defendant to have taken this bear home. Phew, disaster averted. God damn it, Edgeworth. You haven't gotten the best of me yet, Mr. Wright. Huh? I remember it clear as day. I remember what you muttered to yourself at On Guard's mansion. We have this area completely surrounded. There's no way for him to escape. I can't believe it. That butler, all this time he was the killer. Ah, Phoenix and your big mouth. The killer and On Guard were working together, so to speak. And the killer was hiding at On Guard Mansion as its butler. What a bold move. The bear figurine was brought back to On Guard Mansion by the killer himself. When it looked like he was about to be arrested, On Guard had him do so. I assume because it would have been bad had the police found it during the investigation. But why take the bear in the first place? Well, Mr. Wright, been quiet for a while now. This is too much. Isn't there anything that can attack at all? I think we've heard enough. We now know why this bear figurine was at the defendant's mansion, as well as who it was that received the bear from the assassin in his room. Everything has become very clear. The client, who hired the assassin to commit the murder, was Mr. Matt On Guard. I see no reason for this trial to continue. Therefore, I will now hand down my verdict. Thank you, Your Honor, for your understanding. You see, Mr. Wright, you could not win against the truth, could you? I knew it would turn out this way. After all, what Edgeworth has stated is the truth. Any last objections, Mr. Wright? Well, do I? What should I do? Yeah, I mean, the bear. We gotta attack the bear.
Objection!
There is only one way for me to drag this trial out. The only thing I have left is one dirty trick. Your Honor, right now we have these two reasons to believe my client is the assassin's client. Reason number one, he accepted the bear figurine from the assassin. Reason number two, that very same figurine was found at On Guard Mansion. However, it's possible this is all the work of a certain other person. Adrian? What are you saying? What I am saying is, it's possible a different person is the killer's real client. The real client? Yes. Tisk. Is this all you have? Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your theory. Who do you say is the killer's real client, and therefore the real murderer? Oh, God. Oh, God. Adrian, I'm sorry, but it's the only way.
Take that!
Adrian Andrews? Yes. We already know that she tried to frame Matt On Guard for the crime. By wearing a spare nickel samurai costume. Oh. Then the nickel samurai's arm that I saw. That could have very well been Miss Andrews. Could it? But what about Mr. On Guard? If you would please recall yesterday's testimony, the defendant was taking a nap during the break period. That's right. Then, finding this figure at Mr. On Guard's mansion, there was a well-laid trap set by Miss Andrews. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion on this? I can't even begin to count the flaws in the defense's logic. Besides which, there is no evidence to support it. However, I can't fully discount its possibility either. What is with this trial? Come on, anyone can tell On Guard did it. I can't believe the defense would go so far as to pin the guilt onto someone else. Yeah, unbelievable. It's not something petty. It's murder of all things. This is to save Maya. This is to save Maya. Even if the whole world turns against me, this is one fight I can't give up on. Order, order, order! All disruptive parties will be forced to leave the courtroom. Your Honor, for the benefit of the defense, I'm willing to play along with his what-if game. His what-if game, Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution is prepared to challenge the defense's theory. Thanks, Edgeworth. Mr. Wright, even you must have thought it strange and wondered, why would the criminal want this little wooden bear? Yes! He's right. The killer did specially bring that bear to On Guard right away. Why do you ask? Is there something special about it? Absolutely. And I'm sure that once the court knows its significance, the true killer's identity will become crystal clear. Your Honor, the prosecution calls upon a witness who will clear all doubts against Miss Andrews. Who? And who would that be? It's quite simple, Your Honor. Miss Adrian Andrews herself. Okay. I see. Well then, the court will take a short 10-minute recess. The prosecution will prepare its witness in that time. Yes, Your Honor. Oof. Alright, back to him taunting us. Well, I guess we can just force him to put a sock in it and wait for our leisurely time. So yes, let's end this video here. Gosh, okay. Well, we definitely drained Mr. Powers for all he's worth. I don't think his testimony will have any relevancy going forward. Or at the very least, he won't add anything new. Indeed, we did our trademark scrabbling and scrambling to just pull together some semblance of a case in our favor. But this time, we're lying. We're buying time. We're making things up. We are not chasing the truth. We're trying to cover the truth. Phoenix hates it. He does. He's about to hate it even more because we're about to throw Adrian Andrews under the bus just to buy time. God, I hope there's a way this all pulls through. Man, it's fully within the realm of possibility that this game's ending is a bad one. So, yeah, my money is on the bear having a secret compartment that held something. Me personally, I'm not even sure what angle I could take to go with the theory that Adrian Andrews hired him, the killer I mean, and why she would want the bear. I got nothing, so I guess we'll just have to keep lying then. So gosh, we're, what, 2, 3, 4 episodes away from ending this case and this game? Well, all I know is I'm very, very excited to see what happens next. Even if it might be emotionally painful. So, this has been Phoenix Wright, Justice for All. I'm Zephyr the Jester. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I will catch you next time. Until then, please take care.